And I don't know if any of you know who Kelly is. He's an 8-time world surfing champion. But the thing is, where we come from, and what's amazing about Kelly being a world champion 8 times over, is we don't have a whole lot of surf. So I came up with the Indo Board literally as an indoor board sport. So the word Indo comes from indoor board. Every other board sport in the world requires an ocean or a mountain, a boat, snow, requires weather or outdoor. So this is the first indoor board sport. And it's partially evolving into a sport of its own, because as you see on the video, these kids are inventing and doing tricks all on their own. And this is a school in Hawaii that helped me develop my school program, because now it's evolved so far from just being a surfing trainer and other board sports training, because when I market to wakeboarding, water skiing, snowboarding, and skateboarding, all the board sports, because this is a board sport, to kids in school. And the thing is, most of these kids aren't surfers. They're not board sports enthusiasts. And the reason the evolving of the Indo Board into a school program came from Leighton, we'll see him, contacted me because he bought one, and he found that the kids that were getting involved with it didn't do anything. They were kids that didn't want to participate in physical education. So the beauty of what we developed here, that's Leighton right there, great guy. But when we're showing, this is a program that we developed and showing that we teach from the ground up. I mean, I'm obviously standing here and doing stuff like it's no big deal to me, but you have to crawl before you can walk. And we've developed that whole program with Leighton at his school. But just to go on, is that fitness now was introduced to me by Leighton and other people via emails, phone calls. I didn't go looking for the fitness market. The fitness market came and found me, which is really amazing, because look at all of you here, because you're interested in something that may be beneficial for fitness. And certainly this is about as bizarre as it can get, because you look at it and you see a surfer. That's kind of what it is. But what is the basis of surfing? Balance. Probably the most balanced challenge sport there is, even though every sport is balance challenge. When you think about it, there's virtually an application of balance to every sport. Even as far as swimming, I work with a swimmer who won 4 gold medals in the Olympics in Athens. His name is Aaron Pearsall. He happens to be a surfer from Newport Beach, California. And because of his surfing background, he had an Indo Board. His agent called me up and said, "Boy, can we do something together? I'm an Olympic athlete." And I said, "Well, I have no money, but how about I give him a workout and we see if we can improve his swimming by making him stronger, because I'm nervous, I'm getting warmer. The more that I balance, my core is engaged. If you notice, my legs are constantly bent. I'm not standing here like this. Just doing what I'm doing, I'm getting a workout." And that's how basic this is. To go back to Aaron Pearsall, Aaron called me up and I sent him a variety of different Indo boards. And we talked on the phone. I gave him a workout 2 months before the Olympic Games. He called me from New York Airport all the way to the Olympics. He didn't have to call me. I didn't expect it. He was in JFK saying that he was catching a flight to Athens. And he said, "I'll tell you what, I can tell a difference when I turn and push off the wall. I am pushing off the wall with more power." Now, we already held the world record. He only had to shave by 1/100th of a second to set a new world record. And he's the only one that Michael Phelps has never beaten. Up until 2 weeks ago, Mike Phelps touched him out in the 100 backstroke. But we have high hopes that Aaron will dominate again. But anyway, that's how diverse this is, because then when you think of swimming, you don't think much of balance application. That's where it gets to fitness, core fitness. Now the term core is used so much today that we don't want to burn that out we want to just reinforce the fact that mainstream fitness didn't even know the importance of core until the last 8 years or so. Right at the turn of the century, core became the new buzzword. And the neat thing is that it's not a fad. Core will always be with us because, as I chipped in there with Raul, it is the foundation of all athletic endeavor. If your core is strong, you've got to start with that and build everything else around it. And the Indo Board happens to be a tool that will help you do that, but it also gives you a fun way to do it. So in my hand, I'll show you, this is a progression that we have come up with in the last 3 years that opens this board sport up to everybody. Because, I don't know if you can see, on the deck, real big and clear at the bottom, it says, warning, use at your own risk. Because part of riding an Indo board means that you will fall. Doesn't mean that you have to, it's just part of the process. So we came up with what we call the Indo Flow cushion, and literally you don't fall off of this. And it is more exercise than the roller, because the roller is kind of two-dimensional. The cushion is three-dimensional. Now, I don't know how many of you work with seniors. Does anybody in here work with the older segment of society in training whatsoever? Anyway, we found this looks like it's empty. Nothing's going on here. When you put that on the floor and stand on it, and this is what's important for a senior citizen, they're only an inch off the ground, and if you look at me from the waist up, you see nothing happening. But if you look down at my feet and my ankles and my knees, I'm balancing. And senior citizens, the first thing that goes, and one of the most important aspects of training